Omo Bazoye now joins us for an update from the site of that tragedy. Good afternoon, Omo. Can you give us an update on this tragic incident in Niger State?
Yeah, I just listened to you confirming the reports that we are getting from the Federal Road Safety Commission saying that they have given a mass burial to about 73 people. But I'm here to say that that has changed because they just announced that announced another 3 fatality, saying that before the early mornings of today, 3 other persons have just died, and that raises or increased the tally to about 76 right now, and then hoping that those who are still left in the hospital will be able to recover. I'm right here standing right at the scene of what the carnage that happened, yesterday, and for so many people around this community, Sabongiri and other areas around, they are still finding it very hard to understand, exactly what happened here yesterday. And so far, we're seeing people, some family members coming to see whether they can find anything, anything, whether it's slippers or something that can, maybe connect them to their loved one. They think they have not seen since that incident happened yesterday. I don't know if my camera could, shift a little bit so that you could see, exactly what I'm talking about. You will see that somewhere around, you see people trying to look around the debris of what is left of what was burnt yesterday here. I understand that where I am currently standing used to be a very busy environment, more like a mini market where people do plenty of grinding. And so at the time when that incident happened, there were so many people all around, different people grinding, whether millet or corn or engaging in some other activities. And as you can see, the entire place right now is burnt. People are just trying to gather the bits of what they can. I don't know if this will be good for our pictures, but I'm also seeing them piling up what looks like the burnt remain of some of the victims. I have also been to the hospital myself, at least one of the hospitals myself today, the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua General Hospital, where I saw a few of some of the victims receiving, treatment and trying to recover. I spoke also to the Federal Road Safety Commander today, and he came right here with some members of his accident investigators, he called them. They're trying to sift through what also they can to find out what exactly has been or could be the remote and the immediate cause of the accident yesterday. He told me that part of what was responsible was the fact that the truck in concern didn't have its the tank behind it properly, lashed on it, and so by the time the truck, lost control when it went into 1 or 2 potholes, the overhead tank rolled off and the explosion happened. And or even before the explosion happened, several people all around within the community, seized the opportunity. They turned out in large numbers and trying to scoop, trying to see what they can make out of an opportunity for them to make some brisk money out of the accident that has just happened. And it was in the course of doing that the incident, occurred. So far we know that there has been a mass burial, and a mass burial for 73 persons that died yesterday. 3 more has just died, bringing the tally to 76. And that's the situation right now here. It's been very, very solemn, seeing some family members coming all around, trying to, just hold on to the tears, looking all around to see whether they can find whatever it is. They can just pick up to just say, oh, this was this person. So that's where we are, and a couple of officials have been coming, just to come and see it. I understand also that the Minister of Information will be also is on his way right here, and so we're waiting, to see what he will have to say, because a lot has to do about what has happened here. Really, kindly has to do with the need to properly educate citizens when things like this happen, rather than go towards it. They should always find their way first to leave or vacate that particular environment. That didn't happen yesterday, and that is why we are, having this situation we have right now in our hands.
Thank you, Omo. It's quite a very heart-wrenching situation right there in Niger State, considering the fact that this isn't the first time something like this will be happening right there in the state. But you mentioned the fact that you visited some of the victims. We understand that about over 50 people suffered burn injuries right there at the right there at the spot yesterday. Can you tell us what the situation is, the medical attention they're receiving, and what their general state is?
Well, if you know this environment very well, the hospital is maybe about, let me say, about 5 or 6 minutes drive from where I'm actually standing. The nearest one, which is the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Memorial Hospital, I understand they took some of them there. About 25 of them were taken there yesterday. And another set of victims were also taken to the Suleja General Hospital, which is a little bit, far away from where we are right now. So when I got to the General Hospital, the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Hospital, a couple of minutes ago, I saw about 4 or 5 victims in one of the wards. And when I asked, they said some relations have come to take away some of the patients, hoping that they would find a way of giving them a better treatment at home than what they are currently receiving. But I also saw the hospital officials racing against time, trying all the best they can within the limited equipment that they have to want to see how well they can, save more lives. It's been tough. Some of them are just lying down on the bed there, groaning, and the degree of the injury that I saw were very, very severe.
I can just imagine the severity of such injuries regarding the victims. Now, on the victims themselves, has there been any official response from the state authorities on this incident so far, especially in assisting those that were affected by it?
Well, I know that as soon as the incident occurred yesterday, there was a press statement from the National Emergency Management Agency saying that it has swiftly responded and it's reaching out to want to provide relief materials to the affected persons. I'm also aware that the state governor, Mohammed Bagu, also led a delegation here as quickly as he could, and he was even able to see the inferno, himself, while the fire was still raging. So I know that at times like this, emergency relief efforts, are always going to be rolled out. I know the governor himself too has said, or trying to say that they want to find a way of restricting the movement of vehicles all around, but I think efforts are ongoing actually to actually meet those who are alive, but certainly not for those who have died.
A very sad one there. And we know that when the last incident happened, that was last year, there were some precautionary measures that the state government put out, especially for tanker drivers not to drive carelessly. Have there been any measures, especially to see that these things are adhered to, and also the scooping of fuel whenever there's a breakdown in any tanker, vehicle, in any vehicle, carrying fuel? Have there been measures to ensure that things like this do not repeat themselves?
I read about such measures every now and then myself. And even driving all around in Abuja, you see these tankers moving around at all times we're not supposed to be going around. Part of the restriction is that they're not supposed to move at daytime, and the reason behind that is so that when things like this do happen, then the number of casualties will then be minimized and maybe reduced. But what we have seen, and as I was coming into Suleja early this morning, this road, I think it's called Maja Road. It's totally filled with trucks, all manners of trucks. Those who are heavily laden with fuel, and others who are carrying some other, heavy-duty items. They're everywhere, all around. You can't even move 1 inch without seeing one of them. And the road itself, it's in a very, very bad state. So when you have a situation where drivers are not obeying or listening to directives that are given, especially truck drivers, they are not listening, they are not abiding, they're not willing to abide by such regulations, and also a very bad road. In such a situation, there will always be miscalculation, and that miscalculation is what has led to what we are now talking about right here.
Indeed, Omo, you can just imagine the challenges they had to go through. Now, let's talk about the first responders. Were you able to talk to them? You already mentioned the fact that traffic itself could be a hindrance to, getting help on time regarding that. So we saw elements of fire brigade in your earlier report. So what was things like from their perspective getting to the incident, the venue of the incident?
Well, I didn't quite get that question, but I heard about one last statement about fire brigade and maybe some of the efforts that are currently going on. I'm standing right in front of the tank that exploded yesterday. And right now, as I still speak to you, it's leaking. It's still spilling. And because of that, we cannot move too closely to it. I know that officials of one of these officials of NMDPRA, they've been here to see things for themselves. They just left a couple of minutes ago. If you're seeing my video right now, you can see the spot at which what is left is still dripping, and I can see another fire brigade or firefighter standing by. What that suggests is that there could be another incident if enough care is not taken. But what is really, really shocking for me is that one would think that a place like this will have been completely cordoned off, at least to people who don't really need to have access to this place. But as it is right now, this is where what is currently going on. I saw a couple of minutes ago they brought something that looks like a water pump. Maybe they want to use that to pump out what is left of the fuel. So the initial response, as of yesterday, we saw the firefighters also, doing the best they can, trying to contain the fire, which they actually did. But even though the fire was too strong and had burnt so many places or so many property worth millions of naira. I don't know if my cameraman Boris can pan to some of the items there. The place I mentioned earlier that people used to be some kind of a marketplace where they do plenty of grinding. So many people bring their stuffs here, whether it's millet or it's corn and so many other things you could see. Somewhere around here, it's what is left of one of the machines, and they are here. And some guys are actually also right here now doing some scavenging, trying to again take advantage of what has happened, yesterday. So this is a heap of corn. I don't know if I can look at. Just take a look at. That's it. And this, at a time when food is a very serious issue, that's a heap of corn burned to ashes. So that's where we are. We are still standing by, hoping to continue to give you all the details of what is happening the day after the carnage here in Suleja in Niger State.
Thank you so much, Omo. But we see a lot of potential risks and, danger in that place. You talked about the grinding machine, the leaking tanker, and the fact that that place has not been cordoned off. It looks like there is still huge potential for danger in that place. But how are the people reacting? How are they taking this whole incident? Have you been able to speak with any of the residents in that area?
Yes, I have been able to speak to some of them. Like I said earlier, they are still in serious pain, and they just manage to want to say one or two things to you. They are sort of still trying to nurse what has happened to their loved ones. So it's just that pain, that element of pain that they're going through. I saw some of them standing by the wall, some leaning against some of the trees around, and they wouldn't even say too much to you. You know, they're just there trying to swallow everything in and taking, what has just befallen them. It's a very hard time for the people around this community at this time. Honestly, it's been really very tough for them.
A tough time indeed. Omo Bazwaye, many thanks for the update at the scene of the deadly tank explosion in Niger State. It's good to have you with us.